Hi Year 3, this is your computing lesson for this week. Before I just start, I wanted to go through some things that I've heard have happened this week on Microsoft Teams. Just want to remind you that on Microsoft Teams, when you're communicating with your friends in your year group or your class, which is lovely that you're doing that, remember that first of all, everyone can see what you're writing on there, including your teacher. We need to remember that when we're in school, the expectation is that you're kind to each other. And the same thing needs to happen when we're on Teams. So if you're writing to someone on Teams, you need to respect them the same way that you would expect respect from them to you. So please just be really careful and think about what you're writing before you write it. And we're going to come on to that in today's lesson. But I just wanted to start off today's session just thinking carefully about what you're writing. If you're putting a picture on your Teams to somebody else, make sure you're being kind to each other and think about it before you write it. Think really carefully what you're saying. There's been a few reports of people being a bit unkind on Teams, and if that's going to carry on, unfortunately, those people just won't be able to talk to each other on Teams anymore, which would be a real shame because I know how much you enjoy your live sessions with your teachers and seeing each other and also talking to each other. So just make sure you're sticking to that rule really carefully. Okay, rant over, let's get on with today's lesson. So, our learning objective for today's computing lesson is, can I explore different ways we can communicate online? So a bit like what I was just talking about on Teams, that's one way we can communicate. So I want you to first of all have a think about communities. What does the word community mean? So pause the video now and have a think what you think the word community means. Okay, and now I want you to think about what communities you are a part of. So I'm just going to scroll down just to give you some ideas. So some of these might be more linked to what online communities you might be a part of, or communities outside when we're able to come to school, what communities you're a part of. So a community is a group of people, or a group, it's a society, it's a group of people that come together, and you might have something in common, you might have an interest in common, you might go to the same school, you might live in the same neighborhood. That's a community. So I've put some pictures on here just to give you some ideas. So together, we all live on the same on the same earth. We are a community together. At Langley Academy Primary, we're all a community. I know some of us can't come to school at the moment, but we are all a community still together. Same as if you live in Langley. Langley is its own community. Or in Slough. Slough is a community. Some people play the game Roblox, and I know that you can talk to people on Roblox. So again, you can have a community on Roblox of the people that you talk to, and your interest and your thing that you have in common is you're interested in the game. That could be a community. We have a class community or a year group community on Microsoft Teams. You have your live sessions on Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays as a class community, and you talk to each other. Or Pokemon Go. I know that some children in my class love Pokemon. Pokemon Go, you might be, when Pokemon Go first came out, you would walk around and you try and catch Pokemon on a device. That's something, there was then a Pokemon community where you could work with people to find different Pokemons, and people have Pokemon cards and you can trade them, and that again is a community. The thing that you are interested in, that you have in common, is Pokemon. So they are different communities. So I want you just to pause the video now and have a think about what communities you are a part of. You're all a part of Langley Academy Primary. You're all a part of Microsoft Teams. You're all a part of your class. So my class is part of Pankhurst class. That's the community. You're all a part of Year 3. Have a think about what other communities you might be a part of. Are you a Brownie? So Brownies is a community. Do you live in Slough? Slough could be a community. Do you play other games with children online, or do you go to other groups when we're able to? Think about a different community you could be a part of. Okay. So online communication. So like examples I've just said, I'd like you to write down on your whiteboard or on a piece of scrap paper any community that you can think of that I haven't thought of. So I've given you some ideas on Microsoft Teams, Pokemon Go, of Roblox. I want you to have a think of any other online communities that you can think of that you could be a member of. Have a think of what other things there could be, what other examples, and pause the video now whilst you write those ideas down. Okay, community communication. Now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit just so that you can see it a little bit clearer. In a local community, people talk and interact all the time. So for example, in Langley, people might walk past each other in the street and talk to each other. They see each other often. Even people who don't know each other will talk to each other maybe in the shops or to make arrangements or just to say hello. A big difference between a real life community and an online community is that people all over the world can communicate with anyone else instantly, not just via email. They can communicate by using chat rooms, social media, comments, and even games forums, like the examples I've just given. So have a think. So when you're older, if you have a Facebook account, when you're older and you're allowed to, people can talk to each other all over the world on there. So that is an online communication, it's an online community that they're able to have. However, if you're walking around Langley with your adult, you won't necessarily bump into people from all over the world there. You might you'll see the people there and then who live in that area. So it's a smaller number of people that you could be in contact with. So that's the big difference between a real life community and an online community. Do you think being able to talk to anyone, anywhere is a good or a bad thing? So this is talking about online community. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to be able to talk to anyone, anywhere? Pause the video and have a think of what you think the good things could be and what you think the bad things could be. And if you want, you could do a little table. So you could have good and bad on one side and you can split it down the middle and write your ideas. Why you think it could be a good thing and why you think it could be a bad thing. There's no wrong answer. It's your opinion. So what you think is a good thing and why you think it could be a bad thing. Okay, I hope you've written some ideas down. I'm hoping for at least maybe 3 on each side, if not more. I'm going to go through some ideas that I've thought of. So the good things, you can talk to people with the same interests. So like I said earlier on, if you're in a Roblox community, you're going to talk to each other about something you're both interested about Roblox, you can talk to them about that. You're able to buy and sell things to anyone. So there's some groups online where you're able to buy and sell things to people all over the world. You can support other people's ideas and work. So online, if someone posts an idea of something that they've got, you can encourage them. You can say how fantastic you think that is of an idea, and that will really boost their morale and make them feel good that you're able to do that. Whereas if you didn't have that online communication, they wouldn't be able to tell you their ideas and you wouldn't be able to give the feedback as easily. You can talk to people you'd never meet in real life. So sometimes we've had times where we've had people have contacted us from other parts of the world to give us ideas for our lessons or to talk to you in class. Now, if we didn't have online communication, we wouldn't be able to do that. We'd maybe be able to do a telephone call, but it's not quite the same. And you can make friends all over the world. Some bad things I thought of, you don't always know if people are who they say they are. So some bad people could talk to you and they say that they're someone who's interested in something, or they say that they're going to be your friend, but actually they're not very nice people. So it's just being really careful with who you're talking to online and making sure an adult knows who you're talking to. Anyone can send you anything and it might be something you don't like. So a bit like I said earlier on in Teams, it's easier, unfortunately, to write something unkind to someone than it is to say it to their face. So someone might say something unkind online because it's easier for them to do that, but actually it's not very nice to receive unkind comments from people. And the other thing I've said is that people think because they'll never meet you, they can be rude. So if they live in Australia and you're playing a game with them, they could be rude to you because they think, well, I'm never going to meet that person. They live in Slough in England, so I'm never going to meet them, so I can be as rude as I want, which obviously they can't be. So just being really careful with who you're speaking to and speaking to people who the adult who looks after you knows who you're speaking to as well. Now, if you've got other ideas, that's fantastic. There's so many different good things and bad things about it. So if you upload that onto Tapestry, we'll have a look. There's lots of different ideas. And if you had any of my ideas, well done, you can give them a little tick. So well done. If you also want to add any of my ideas to your list, that's fine as well. So being safe and sensible. Is there a difference between how people talk in real life and online? So this is like what I've just said. I'm going to show you some comments here, and these are from an online post. And I'd like you to think about if there's something that someone would say in real life. So it's a bit like a YouTube, someone's uploaded a little video, and underneath it, people have written some comments. So someone has said, amazing skills. Someone has said, halfway through, your face looks stupid. Do you think that person would say that to someone in real life? Do you think someone would go up to someone and say, halfway through you doing that, your face looked stupid? Not very kind. Hey, check out my video. I think we like the same stuff. Nice video. Shame about your annoying voice. I bet you have no friends. Love this. Thanks for sharing. So each one of these coloured circles is where a new person has written a comment. And yellow, red, and purple are all unkind comments. Someone said their face looks stupid. Someone said that they've got an annoying voice, and someone said, I bet you have no friends. Now, those three people have probably never met the person who's recorded this video, and they probably will never meet them. But they have decided to be unkind to that person. I'd like you to pause the video and have a think. How do you think the person who recorded this video will feel after they read those comments? Okay, I think they'll be really upset and also disappointed, and maybe not want to post any more videos anymore, or might not want to contribute to this community. Because although there's some nice comments, so blue has written a nice comment, and turquoise has written a nice comment, and green has written a nice comment, the not nice comments will make the person feel sad and not want to contribute anymore. And I don't think those people would have said those things in real life if they knew how much it was going to upset them, and they knew that they would meet them one day. I don't think they would say it. But these people think, because I'm not going to meet you in real life, it doesn't matter. In real life, we couldn't imagine strangers saying unkind things about something we did. So, on a piece of paper for me today, I'd like you to answer the questions below. I'd like you to first of all write, how do you use online communication? If you're not on any games online, that's absolutely fine. But you are all on Teams. If that's the only online communication you have, that's fine. I'd like you to write down for me, how do you use online communication? So that could be that you take part in the live videos that we do. It could be that you write to each other and you can give some examples of things that you've written or things that people have written to you. That's also fine. Then I'd like you to write down, what online communities do you belong to? So if there are any others, I'd like you to list them. And how do you feel about online communication? So for example, if you think it's fantastic because it means you can talk to family all over the world and you're able to talk to your friends whilst you're sitting at home, which I know a lot of you are really happy about, brilliant. But then you can also say why you don't feel it's so good. It could be some people can be unkind, or sometimes you might worry who you're talking to. So when it says, how do you feel about online communication? I'd like you to write down some sentences for both sides. So why you think it's a good idea and why you think it's a bad idea. Remember to use your conjunctions like because to explain why you feel like that. It's really important to stay safe when communicating online. And these are the rules to help you stay safe. Never give out your personal information. So if a stranger says to you online that you're talking to, where do you live? What is your name? How old are you? And it's someone that you don't know who they are. You've never met them before. Never give out your personal information, and maybe just let an adult know that this person is talking to you, just to keep you safe. If you do have a problem or someone is unkind to you, let an adult know so that we can sort it out for you. And make sure you have your adult's permission and they know what you're doing online. So if you are talking to people online that you haven't met, or even if you're talking to people online that you have met, make sure your adult knows what you're doing on your computer or on your tablet or on a phone, just to keep you safe so that we know what you're doing. And when I mean an adult, it could be an adult who you live with, it could be your teacher, whoever it is that you trust, make sure you let them know. So a good rule to follow is that if you wouldn't say it in real life, you shouldn't say it online. If you wouldn't say something to a friend on Teams, if you wouldn't say so I wouldn't say something unkind to Miss Gossage in real life, so I wouldn't say something unkind to Miss Gossage on Teams. So try and stick to that rule and think really carefully before you write something if it's going to upset someone or not. Remember, words can be just as hurtful online. And I actually think sometimes it can be even worse because you aren't able to talk to them or ask them how they're feeling or why they're saying those unkind words because it's online. If it's in person and someone says something unkind, you could say, why have you said that? Or explain to them how it's made you feel. And it's harder to do that online. Just be really careful with that. I'm going to leave the slide on these rules because this is a really important slide to remember those rules about staying safe online. You upload your work onto Tapestry, we'll have a look at any online communications that you're part of and how you feel about it. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. Write down your opinion as how you feel. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your answers on Tapestry.